if it's streaming. I think I'm gonna spend only 1 hour here today. Because I wanna finish these videos. And I think that is not gonna be as hard as I thought it was gonna be for making the decorator video and then export system. Well, I was thinking it was gonna be hard because I was also thinking about doing a bunch of other stuff, but I think I'm gonna keep it simple so I can finish this fast. And also I've received some feedback on this page here, so I think I'm gonna change the copy and the image because they said that it's all over the place. So, and I think it makes sense from someone that doesn't like, it's not invested in what I'm doing. Because I'm looking from the perspective of building the thing and knowing what it is, so it's hard to understand how someone that has no idea about what it is, how they perceive this. But I think it makes sense. I think this phrase here, the way that I put here, it's not clear what it is or what the person is gonna get. But the challenging part with this is that in order to fully explain what the person gets, I have to put a bunch of text. So this is the reason why I put this stuff here. But most people are not gonna read this, I assume. So most people are gonna read this. So the challenge is how to find a way to explain exactly what they are gonna get, but in a very simple and short way. And I think that the message also depends on the traffic, probably. Because if I'm getting a lot of people that come from the videos, they're gonna have the context of the video, which is gonna help them understand what it is. So, and the other thing is the image, which also makes sense. That this doesn't have anything to do with the thing that I'm offering. So they said that I should put a picture of a spreadsheet or something like that. But it's hard to think about. Maybe I should just remove the picture and then just leave the text. That could be also an idea. But I think what I'm gonna do is just put a picture of the. I think I'm gonna take a small picture of, like, I'm not gonna show everything in the spreadsheet, but I'm gonna take one picture of a section of a spreadsheet. But the problem is I don't wanna give too much away because then but maybe if I take a picture of a section of the spreadsheet and put here, then that would be better. Because then it's a lot easier to understand what you're gonna get. So I think I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do this in another time. Today I'm gonna focus on making these videos here. So I wanna do at least 2 videos today. Just this decorator and this imports and export system. And I'm going to start by doing the Italian stuff here.
Fa,
Fa,
does,
fisso,
fisso,
set, unchanging,
3,
3,
3,
desiderare,
desiderare,
desire,
aria,
aria,
air,
bene,
bene,
well,
anche,
anche,
also,
giocare,
giocare,
play,
piccolo,
piccolo,
small,
fine,
fine,
end,
mettere,
mettere,
put,
casa,
casa,
home,
leggere,
leggere,
read,
mano,
mano,
hand,
portare,
portare,
carry,
grande,
grande,
large,
compitare,
compitare,
spell, words,
aggiungere,
aggiungere,
add,
anche,
anche,
even, also,
terra,
terra,
land,
qui,
qui,
here,
devo,
devo,
I must,
grande,
grande,
big,
alto,
alto,
high, tall,
tale,
tale,
such,
seguire,
seguire,
follow,
atto,
atto,
enact,
perché,
perché,
why,
chiedere,
chiedere,
ask,
maschi,
maschi,
men,
cambiamento,
cambiamento,
a change,
è andato,
è andato,
he, she went,
luce,
luce,
light,
tipo,
tipo,
kind, of thing,
spento,
spento,
turned off,
bisogno,
bisogno,
need,
casa,
casa,
house,
immagine,
immagine,
image,
provare,
provare,
try,
noi,
noi,
us,
di nuovo,
di nuovo,
again,
animale,
animale,
animal,
punto,
punto,
point,
madre,
madre,
mother,
mondo,
mondo,
world,
vicino,
vicino,
near,
costruire,
costruire,
build,
se stesso,
se stesso,
himself,
terra,
terra,
earth,
padre,
padre.
father,
I think decorators were introduced in JavaScript as well, but I was thinking more when I thought about making this video about closures instead, which I think is the similar concept, but I think now JavaScript also has decorators based on this response from ChatGPT, but I'm not 100% sure. So what I want to clarify is what is the difference between closures and decorators, and then also make sure that or check if JavaScript has incorporated decorators as well.
So that's really all that is.
It looks like there It has existed for a long time. $6 years ago.
Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Dave, and today we're looking at JavaScript decorator functions. They can enhance, or decorate, if you will, the core functionality of other functions. Let's take a look. Today we're looking at JavaScript decorator functions. Decorators wrap a function in another function, and these wrappers decorate the original function with new capabilities. So think about it this way. Here in America, I decorate my house with my kids for Halloween and Christmas. That adds additional functionality when I need it, but it's not part of the core functionality for the rest of the year. And that's kind of how decorator functions are. You don't want it to be part of the core functionality, but when you need it, you can wrap the core functionality of your original function in another function to add some new capabilities. And the concept of decorators is not exclusive to JavaScript. It's in many other languages. And some benefits of decorators. Well, there's the dry principle, which is don't repeat yourself. And if you make your decorator functions generic, you can use them on many other functions when needed, if it applies, of course. And then that, of course, creates clean code, and you can use composition. In other words, building those on. You can actually use more than one decorator, as we'll see in an example. So let's get started. In our first example, we're going to use closure to log how many times our function is called. So we need to start out with our core function. And this is not a decorator, this is just our core functionality. So we start out with this, but note that I'm using the keyword let. I usually use the keyword const when I define a function, but if you know you're going to use it with decorators, you could use let, because then you can continue to use the same name for your function even after it's decorated. And I'll show you how that works. Notice here we have a function called sum, and it just takes an unspecified amount of arguments. And then we return those using reduce. So we actually return the total of those arguments. And you can also call those parameters, if you will. And if you're not familiar with reduce, I do have a tutorial on higher order functions that I'll link to below in the description. And if you're not familiar with closure, I also have a tutorial on that I'll link to in the description. After we defined our core function, then we define our decorator function. And so let's look at how this works. I've named this function call counter because it's going to count how many times our other function is called. It's the function that's passed into our decorator function. So this decorator function isn't bound to just working with sum. This can work with any function we pass to it. So it receives the function as a parameter, and then notice we define count. And using closure, we'll have access to this count variable in the lexical scope of this function, this anonymous function that is returned. And when this anonymous function is returned, it has access to the count variable. And of course, I go over all of that in the closure tutorial linked to below. In this function that is returned, we're writing to the log how many times the function that is passed in has been called. And then we just return the function that is passed in, so it can be called at a future time. And with that defined, this is the line that allows us to use the same function name. By using let, we can reassign sum. So we assign sum call counter, but we pass in the value of sum, which was the original core function we had. And now we can make several function calls. Remember, our sum function takes as many parameters or arguments, if you prefer to call them that, as you want, and it will total them up. So let's save our file now with these three console log statements calling sum. And you can see, not only does it deliver the totals as we expect from the core functionality, we've decorated our sum function with call counter, and it is counting or totaling up every time.
Based on this stuff is not the same because it doesn't have this syntax. I think I'm gonna keep it very short, this video. Just gonna explain. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT for an example of a function on another function, then I'm gonna get another example showing the at operator in Python and explain that it is the same thing. And then if I need to clarify if JavaScript has the syntax or not.
Function is called. Of course, you can log that to the logs for your application. You can log it to the console like I have. It can be recorded in a database, whatever you want the call counter function to record that data in. However, this is a way to use closure to count how many times the function has been called into action. And this is a decorator, so you can really use this on any function that you pass to call counter. In our second example, we're going to check for valid data and if we have the correct number of parameters for our core function. So let's look at our core function. This is a basic function that returns the area of a rectangle, just the length and the width. So we have definitely two parameters and only two parameters, and it returns the length multiplied by the width. And again, we use the keyword let instead of const, so we can continue to use the same rectangle area function name after we decorated the function. Now, our first decorator is going to count the number of parameters, so we'll call this function count params, and we pass in the function. And then you can notice here we are returning an anonymous function, and this anonymous function accepts the parameters of the function passed in. And notice I'm using params here, and I did this on purpose. In the first function, I use args, and I just want to make the point that it doesn't really matter what name you use for the placeholder, but just so it means the correct thing you, and you might use the word arguments or you might use the word parameters. But if you want to call it pizza, you can probably do that too. So here we're passing the parameters for the function that's passed in, and now we're just checking the length of the parameters versus the function length, and that should be the same. And if they're not equal, we're going to throw an error that says the incorrect number of parameters, and then it lists the function name in the assembly in the error. And of course, we need to return the function as we would expect with a decorator. And then before we're finished, we're going to add a second decorator to our core function, and this is called require integers. Works much the same way that we saw count params. And notice neither one of these functions require specifically to work with our rectangle area function. We can pass other functions to these, so these are reusable code, and that certainly keeps our code dry if we need to use these decorators on more than one function. Our require integers function works the same way. We pass in the function, we get the params, and now for each parameter, it checks to make sure that the parameter is an integer, and that is what is needed for the rectangle area function that we've constructed above. Of course, I have to scroll up to see the core function up here, but we're setting integers in this case. And if they're not integers, we throw an error there that lists the params where the function name must be integers. And once again, we need to return this function and we pass the params on through, so the core function can use those. So after we've defined both decorators for our core function, then we can right here. So we would have to refer back to the original function name. I copied down what we previously did here, which fn name works in this decorator. And for today's third and final example, we're going to be decorating an async API call function. And we're going to time function. And now this is called data request data at this point. Well, we returned an anonymous async function, let alone it's an async function. That wouldn't really make sense here, but it does make sense to go ahead and return the data. And we can say anything we want to there. And
hey guys, it's Andrew, and in this video we're going to make another JavaScript decorator. This time we're going to use decorators kind of like Angular 2 does. If you played around with Angular 2 at all, you know that you can use decorators to create components in other parts of the web application. So in this video, we're going to try and make a little bit of that from scratch, and we'll see how we can do. Now, before we get started, we're going to change the language to Babel, and we're also going to include the Lodash library, which we have template support. Okay, so we have those things in there. Up here in our HTML, let's just create a my app element, and we'll just give it the text loading. And what we're going to do is have our app render inside of this element. Okay, so how exactly is this going to work? Well, we're going to do something like we might do in Angular 2. So with Angular 2, we can make a class that we're going to call our to-do list component. And this class will have a set of to-dos, which is an empty array. And then of course our class is going to need a constructor. Our constructor here might push a few to-do items in there for us to get started. Okay, so we have our to-dos, but let's say we want to render this in a template. How might we render this component? Well, the way we would do this in Angular 2 would be to use a decorator called component. And in Angular 2, we would give this component decorator an object with options, and we need two specific options. The first one is the selector, which in our case will just be my app. This selector will be searched for inside our document, and we'll use this component wherever we find a copy of this selector. So that means the loading text here will be replaced with the template that our component renders. Now the template is actually the second property here. We can add a template here, and I'm going to use backticks so this can be a multi-line string. We'll have each one here, and then underneath this we'll have our underneath list of to-do elements. Now as we mentioned, we're including Lodash here for template support, so we're going to be using Lodash's template function. So this just needs to be a template that will work with Lodash. So what we'll have here is we'll assume we have a list of to-dos. I will say to-do.for each, and let's see, this is going to take a to-do, and we'll have our function here, and then we'll have to close this function down here, and then in here we can actually use our to-do item. So in here we can have a list. Template. This way, we're converting our template here from a string to a function which will return the HTML that this generates. So we can pass our data to this template function now. Inside our decorator function here, let's take the config object and let's assign a class as one of its properties. And the target class that we just created will be the class for that config. And then finally, we need an array of components. So at the top here, we'll create an array of components. That will just be an empty array for now. But then in here, we can say components.push, and we'll push that config in as one of the components that we will need to use to the Angular code. But what we're doing here is just object. So component.selector, and then we can say for based on the object that we created. So now what we have to do is, of course, is going to be the class once again, because this, and then we'll say target_events top level element of our component. And then if it's the individual elements that are clicked on, we can go ahead and run our function. This is actually, I guess you would say, an event instance or something like that. And the important thing here is that this item has two properties, a selector, which we're looking to match, and a function, which we'll need to call if the
I'm gonna say that the JavaScript doesn't have the syntax, but you can do the same thing by using two functions. And the name of the concept is closure. JavaScript, a closure is a function that retains access to the variables in its lexical scope even when it's executed outside of that scope. This means that a closure can access the variables defined in its outer function even after the outer function has finished executing. In Python, a decorator is a function that takes another function and extends the behavior of the latter or later. No, I think it's the latter function without explicitly modifying its code. Decorators are used to modify the behavior of functions or methods and are often used to add additional functionality to existing functions. One key difference between closures and decorators is that closures retain their access to variables from their lexical scope, whereas decorators do not have any access to the variables defined in the functions they decorate. Instead, decorators are passed the function they're decorating as an argument, and can modify its behavior by modifying the function itself or by returning a modified version of the function. Yeah, so it looks like it does have decorators on. Be sure. I didn't know that I can change the theme here. Much better this way. And so I don't think I'm gonna mention closures because it looks like it's a different concept. I'm just gonna use an example of a decorator in JavaScript. And then I'm gonna say that it doesn't have a similar syntax. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have anything. Yeah, so the difference between a closure and a decorator, I think, is that the decorator receives the function as the argument, and then it returns the function that it receives. We've added we've added extra functionality, and then a closure just gets any argument as the argument, and then the function inside has access to the variables outside because of hoisting, I think. Or maybe not, because it's returning another function. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, they both return another function, so I think that's the main difference. Decorator receives a function, and then the closure receives any argument. I'm gonna get the Python example. So get the one with this. Oh, this is perfect actually, because it has the special syntax, but this one is. Yeah, so I think that's all I'm gonna do. It's gonna be very short. Hopefully, that's not a problem. This guy's straight to the point. Then put one side by side and then highlight what is similar and what is different. That's it. So now I'm gonna structure the videos for the part system. What I definitely have to talk about is relative imports in Python and how to call them, how to use them on a project, and the error that you're gonna get frequently if you try to run the script from the file and you're using relative imports, that you can't really do that. And this video is more annoying to make because I might have to put files on different folders here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is put another folder, and then I put another file here. And then from here, I try to import. Maybe we should do the other way around. Yeah, but it doesn't work here. Because this is only for... Yeah, in here I would have to put import some folder, then another. And it looks like it works. I think I'm gonna ask ChatGPT for the examples, and then I will use those examples. It's probably gonna come up with something a lot better than what I'm gonna come up here. It's just a lot faster and more convenient to use ChatGPT. Yeah, so here, I'm gonna finish this outline so I can do the other one. Show example of both JavaScript, Python. Talk about similarities and differences. Yeah, I think there's not much I have to write here actually. Just very simple video. And then I want to remember to mention this stuff with the M switch and research what is the purpose of the M switch as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to explain if name equals main. And I remember there is a section on the documentation. There's a bunch of sections actually. So I'm probably gonna read these sections as well. Yeah, I remember it uses something called frozen as well. Because I remember creating the network X graphs, and then on all of them there were the names of the packages that the import system uses. Yeah, I'm gonna read all this stuff, I think. Which is probably gonna take a long time. So I'm gonna do this first, and then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT a bunch of questions first, and then I'm gonna read this stuff here. Alright, I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm back. It looks like this is not working. I'm gonna try again. Trying to use the text-to-speech. It doesn't work well on the Python documentation because of the formatting of the page. But if I do it like this, highlighting the text, it worked yesterday for some of the... forgot which page, or for magic methods, the under methods. I was reading the page with this.
The import system.
Yeah, it's 40 minutes
Python code
for
1.
each page, I think. So I'm gonna read this after I ask ChatGPT a couple of questions.
What are the differences?
So what I wanna get, how much work I'm gonna put on this video. I definitely wanna get all the different imports, relative imports in Python. I know you can use the sys system and you can use the OS in order to do, but it's a hacky solution for solving the relative import issue, and that it works when you wanna run the script. And then I also want to talk about the M switch, and then explain that another way as well to run the programs is to import everything on the create a file that's, so for example, I'm not sure if this is best practice or not, but that's a way that I found on one of my projects to solve it. So you have a file here called app.py, and then you import everything on this file, and then you run the whatever you want from this file. But I think the problem with this is that it obviously depends on the application you're doing. But I think it is one way sometimes to do it. Is that's where you're only importing from the top level to the other levels, and it works. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. This is the problem. And then if you put the init file, which is the init makes it the folder a package, but even if you put the init file, it doesn't work. Yeah, it still shows this stuff here. And this is the stuff that wanted to explain on this video, but it's very hard to find information about this. I remember searching for this stuff when I was trying to solve this issue before for my own projects. And there are a lot of videos or there are some videos talking about different solutions, which are the hacky solutions, but I couldn't find any videos or any Stack Overflow answers or anything that explains the reason why this happens. Like if it is a package, because the documentation, I think, or the Stack Overflow answers say that you have to put the init file and then it becomes a package, but even then it doesn't work if you run it like this. And I wanted to understand why, and I wanted to study this as I'm making this video, but I don't think I don't have time to do this, so. I also mentioned the star, so mention this. And I know that this is not recommended to do because you don't have the name of the packages, so it's better to make it explicit. And then also mention the as. What are all the ways to do with imports in Python? Python is the import system, blah blah blah. Dot notation or the two dots. Oh, I forgot that I can do like this. So I can do it like this instead. Relative imports are only supported within packages and are not supported at the top level of a script or module. What are packages in Python? Packages is a directory of Python modules. Packages allow you to recognize or organize your Python code by grouping related code into a single package. To create a package, you need to create a directory and put an init.py file inside it. The init.py file can be empty, but it needs to be present in order for Python to treat the directory as a package. Blah blah blah. So let me think. What else can I? Oh, I'm gonna ask for the relative imports using the sys module and the os module. Show me an example of relative importance. Using the sys module. The thing is, I don't want it to show me importing the sys module, obviously. So maybe you use the sys library relative imports. I hope that it will scrape the answers that I found, so I don't have to search for with DuckDuckGo or Google. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, now I think it's gonna give me. I think I'm also gonna search here. I remember seeing this in a video as well. I think I'm not gonna spend time with that. I think I'm gonna watch videos to remember.
I have our application running locally.
Right, so we have learned about this as well. Now I'm gonna go back. Now you could have also said like from even this one. Let me just show you that approach. Directory into my tut files. So directory is subdirectory. The files are in Let me see this works. So either you can use the name of get rid dot sub. So approach would folder thing, right? Also work. Basically, when I say this, that from tutorial sub, I'm gonna go back to my all the way. Cool approach would be this very teacher and then subdirectory. And we did not specify inside the folder because that's important. Now let us go one direction.
Dealing with relative imports in Python can be pretty daunting. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use this. Then we call this path append. And as extern is one layer above our my code file, we have to use dot dot, change out a, so everything, and debug. That contains my code. And then we know at least find my class JSON file as and then a colon, things JSON, and then print a and b. And secondly,
I'm sure I remember a video using the OS.
This is the automation zone in today. Remember these steps very well, okay? Regardless of where you are in the project, to import something from package file, as simple as that. Or you can also import the function. So from root file.
I also think for explaining this, I should open this in the import file so that there isn't all this other stuff that is going to make it more confusing. Yeah, I don't think he's going to talk about it. So let me think. Why is not possible? Run a script. With relative imports. Or maybe I should ask why is it only possible to run from the parent directory. They depend on the package structure and the location of the script or module in that structure. Relative imports are only supported within packages, and they use the dot notation to specify the current package and the parent package. Can use relative imports to import module 1 from subpackage module 2. Try to run this as a script. The relative import will fail because there is no parent package. To run a script with relative imports, you need to run it from within the package or use a tool that sets up the package structure and imports paths correctly. It's also good to write this down. For example, you can run subpackage doesn't the init file on the package makes it so that the package, the parent. The init file in a package specifies the package's initialization code and can be used to import module or set up the package in some way. However, it does not change the fact that relative imports are not supported at the top level of a script or module. To use relative imports, you need to import a module or package from within another module or package in the same package structure. It's the same answer, I think. No, not the same, but very similar. The relative important fit because there is no parent package. But isn't my package the parent package? So I guess the only explanation is that the my package doesn't have a parent package. That's why, but it's still confusing. To run a script with relative imports, you need to run it from within the package or use a tool that sets up the package structure and import paths correctly. Such as Python M or Pythons. For example, a script like this. This will set up the package structure and import paths correctly and allow the script to run with relative imports. However, when you run as a script, it's treated as a top-level script and not as a module in a package. Oh, I get it. This means that the relative import notation does not refer to the parent package, my package in this case. Oh, I understand. So when you run as a script, the script doesn't know that of the parents, the structure. It thinks as if it only this folder exists because it is at the top of the structure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Don't refer in this case. Choose relative imports. You need to import the module or package from within another module. Blah blah blah. So what is the switch flag doing under the hood? Why does it work? You use it. Run a module as a script. When you use the flag, Python search for the specified module in Python in the Python path. Set the name variable to main and execute the code in the module. It's useful for running a module as a script, especially if the module is intended to be run as a script and contains if name equals main block. The M flag also sets up the package structure and import paths correctly so that relative imports in the module will work. For example, if you have the following package structure, this will set up the package structure correctly. Hmm. Explain how does Python import system works under the hood. Happens if in the explanation Python checks the module's name to see if it's already in the sys.modules cache. If the module is already in the cache, Python uses the cached module and returns it. If the module is not in the cache, Python searches for the module in the directory specified in the sys.path list. The sys.path list is a list of directories that Python searches for modules, and it is initialized from the following sources: the current directory, the directory is specified in Python path environment variable if set, the standard library directories, the contents of the site packages directories if it exists. Yeah, I think this is an accurate response. It makes a lot of sense for me. And I remember this whole sys module thing from previous projects. If the module is found in one of the directories in the sys.path list, Python loads the module and executes its code. If the module is a package, Python also loads the init.py file of the package and executes its code. After the module is loaded and its code is executed, Python stores the module in the sys.modules cache. So, continue. So that it can be reused later without having to be loaded again. Python returns the module to the caller. A module is a Python source file that can define functions, classes, and variables. Module can be imported by other modules or scripts to use its functions, classes, and variables. A script is a Python source file that is intended to run as a standalone program. A script is not imported by other modules or scripts and does not define functions, classes, or variables that can be used by other modules or scripts. The main difference between a module and a script is that a module is imported and used by other modules or scripts, while a script is intended to be run as a standalone program. For example, you might have a module.py that defines some functions and variables that you want to use in other scripts or modules. You can import this module in another script or module like this. On the other hand, you might have a script that is intended to be run as a standalone program. Script like this is output. The import system in Python allows you to reuse code by organizing your code into modules and packages and importing them into other scripts or modules. This helps you avoid duplication of code and makes it easier to maintain. Yeah, now the difficult part is thinking about the most effective way to explain all of this. And also I have to think about the JavaScript part. But I think this is enough. I'm probably gonna read this stuff off stream, and I think that this information is enough, probably. And then the only thing I'm gonna say about, because I was thinking about searching, maybe I'll ask here, what is, what happens when you put the because I wanted to understand more in the source code what is happening. Because the if name equals main is always at the bottom of the file, but then scripts are supposed to read the file from the top down. So I don't really understand how that works. Like, how does it know that if name equals main exists before it runs any code? But I guess it runs all the code, and then you just have to encapsulate everything into a function so it doesn't run. But I think it runs all the codes when you don't have if name equals main, because then you're importing into another thing, and when you have it, then it runs all the code. When you have it, it only runs all the code when you run the file, and not when you import it into another special block of code that is executed only when the script is run as the main program. It's not executed when the script is imported as a module. The name variable is built-in variable in Python that contains the name of the current module. When you run a Python script, the name variable is set to main. When you import a module, the name variable is set to the name of the module. For example, consider the following script. When you run this script as the main program, if the name equals main, block will be executed and the greet function will be called. On the other hand, if you import this script as a module, if the name equals main, block will not be executed. Yeah, because the name is different. You can still use the greet function, blah blah. In Python script, it first defines the classes. Yeah, I think this part is important. Block is often used to put the code that you want to run when the script is run. When Python parses the script, it first defines all the functions, classes, and variables in the script, and then executes the code in the script. If the script contains an if name equals main block, Python will evaluate the condition and execute the code in the block if the condition is true. For example, when you run the script, my script is the main program. Yeah, maybe I should start another thread to ask for. And the equivalent of init for JavaScript is index, I think. So I think I'm gonna start off by mentioning this thing. Starts. Why it's not working? Where blah blah blah. They require any module import patterns which are used in Node.js server and are based on the common JS module system. The import and export statements are a way to include code from one module in another module. They allow you to define and use modules in a way that is similar to how you use modules in other programming languages. Here's an example of how you can use the import and export statements in JavaScript. Yeah, and you can only import things that are exported, I think. So that's the main difference. What is the equivalent of units Python for JavaScript? And in Python, relative imports are easy. You just put the path. So I think there isn't much to talk about. And I'm gonna show the structuring, but I'm gonna talk about the structuring on the other video. The next one. JavaScript, there is no equivalent to the init function. In Python, JavaScript does not have a concept of package initialization like Python does. Using import and export statements to define and use modules, but there is no way to specify initialization code for a package. If you want to run some code when a package or module is imported, you can define the function and export it, and then call the function when you import the module. This will run the init function when the app.js module is imported. Note that this is not the same as init function in Python, which is executed when a package is imported and is used to initialize the package and its submodules. In JavaScript, there is no way to specify initialization code for a package. Yeah, I think that's it, probably. And I use this one for JavaScript. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to change these names. I think for the default export, I'm going to show the one of the projects that I have. Probably the landing page one, and then just talk about it. It's probably easier. yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna read this stuff off stream and then I'm gonna go make these videos. If I have time, I might come back and then do the other ones. But I think I'm gonna, if I have time, I'm probably gonna do these other ones off stream. I'm just doing this on stream so I can be more consistent with the streaming. But yeah, I prefer to do it off stream. And I don't want to get off track by doing something else on stream, so that's the reason why I'm doing this stuff on stream. I'm probably gonna come back 2 days from now, I think, on Friday.